Okay, everyone, we're live. Monday, the 27th of November. Yes, I know this. My wife's birthday tomorrow. It's been made perfectly clear to me on a number of occasions when the 28th is, which is also my cousin's birthday. And I'm doing something very special for them. I'm treating them to lunch, as well as another cousin and one of my wife's students. And it's great. All right, let's get ready for our exam. I thought of several ways to do the exam, but I think what I'm going to go with is I'm going to take something from all of the tests and put it on the exam. Now, the average on most of the tests was somewhere in the 70s, so there may be room for improvement on that. Maybe. Okay. Let's start with the worst. Take out some staff paper and a pencil. Don't sit doing nothing. It will aggrieve me. Get your money, boy. Theater as a human action. Kind of a messy life. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Write and resolve that. Correct the figured base. Okay? There could be several answers depending on your voicing, but only one answer for the figured base. Right? So as you do that, I'll help you through thinking it. In the key of E, 6 is C sharp. Now, what would be 5 of C sharp is G sharp. A 5/7 chord built on the note of G sharp is G sharp, B sharp, D sharp, F sharp. Yes? Yeah. Okay, in the 4/2 position, that puts the F sharp in the bass, and it's gonna resolve to E, so I'm gonna need to put that there. Okay, G, then I could just write this, and I need to add that. So if I've done that, I've changed something above the bass. This note, or accidental, is not in the key signature. When something is not in the key signature, it has to be corrected in the figured bass. That note is a 4th above the bass, so that's what happens there. Do you see that correction? I have slashed the 4. Okay? Now, I have also added this 6 because it's first inversion. The 6th chord is spelled C sharp, E, G sharp. Right? Now, the temporary tonic is C sharp. 2 to 1, 7 to 1, 5 to 5, 4 to 3. That is the correct answer for that voicing in the soprano. Okay? Your paper could also include the following. I am not changing the bass at all. The bass remains the same. That could be true, yes. And I could have this also in my soprano, so this is also true. The bass is the same for those two things. Everybody clear on that? Figured bass is the same on those two things. These are my 3 resolutions. So if that is the question, that is the answer. Okay? We understand each other on this. Trevor?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait for the Trevor response before I move on. I would find that stuff sarcastic and annoying, but I feel like I deserve it, so. I was that guy in sophomore theory. I had 100 average, though. Good. Any questions on secondary dominance? How about this? What is the next hardest thing, would you say, that we've done? I find this the hardest. I've seen more mistakes on this than anything else. More mistakes than anything else. Okay. I find fully diminished 7th chords that way. The next most challenging thing. But we're going to go with augmented 6 chords. Do you want to stay in the key of E? Okay. Let's add the Neapolitan to that. Now, why are they linked together? Yes, that's true. And also they're the first chromatic thing that is a secondary function. So we do Neapolitan 6 chords in the pedagogy of theory parlance is a borrowed chord. Yes or no? What would it be borrowed from? Nothing. It's kind of not exactly a borrowed chord. Is it mixed mode? Not exactly either. What is the Neapolitan? I think okay. Let's say that's the 4 chord. All right? Also the 4 chord. I think the Neapolitan comes in there when that becomes the neighbor. Now, the thing is, this is not exactly the Neapolitan because this is in a major mode, right? So to make that the Neapolitan, we have to change it back to the minor mode, right? It's derived from the minor mode. So if we take away this and suddenly make it this, and this becomes this, all we have really going on there is 5 to flat 6, right, as a neighbor. And then when the neighbor becomes a full-time occupation. That becomes the Neapolitan. So we make the Neapolitan look like that, okay? That's what the Neapolitan 6-chord looks like. What does the Neapolitan 6-chord get to do? It wants to take this altered note and take it to this altered note of the 5-chord. Okay? Now, this is for the minor mode. It does the exact same thing in the major mode. You just have to think about it a little differently. This isn't an altered note in the major mode, is it? No, it's not. It's the leading tone. So what are we really doing here is a doubly chromatically neighbored tonic. Yes? Does that make sense? So one thing that it can do is that, right, where it goes through cadential 6/4. You see that? But still, this ultimately goes to that. Another thing that is very common is the fully diminished 7th chord. This chord becomes 7 fully diminished 7 of 5. Now, what would that chord be? A sharp, C sharp, E, G. Okay. So that note has to go there, and that note needs to go there. What does my figured bass need to set? Exactly. What does a figured bass need to set? Is there a note above the bass that's not in the key signature of E minor? Yes. What note is that? C sharp. And that is what number? 3. And the 3 now appears with a slash through it. Okay, so this is a fully diminished 7th chord of 5 moving to 5. Is the resolution for that correct? Is it still resolved correctly? Yay or nay? Can that fully diminished 7th chord go to that 5 chord the way that it is perceived on the board, the way it is written on the board now? Okay, does the diminished 5th resolve with the bass? Yes, it does. Is the other interval a diminished 5th? No, it is an augmented 4th. Could that augmented 4th have expanded outward to double this note? Not because of this. You cannot, because that's the leading tone. Normally we don't double the leading tone. There may be some exceptions to that, but not on this final. Okay? We're only doing things the way that I do them for the final. Alright? So the next thing we need to know is, why can it do this? Because an augmented 4th may resolve in similar motion to a perfect 4th. Okay. I need to know if you can hear what I'm saying. An augmented fourth, do we know what that is? Do you know what similar motion is? Why is this not parallel motion? It has a different interval, all right? Similar means in the same direction. Parallel means the same interval in the same direction. Diatonically, yes, we move fourth to fourth, but chromatically we do not. We move augmented fourth to perfect fourth. So an augmented fourth may move in similar motion to a perfect fourth. That's what allows that to not have to resolve to the leading tone. Are we at a stage where the things I've been saying all along make any sense at all? Do you hear what I'm saying? If you can, if you do things the way that I say, you will be correct. You just have to remember them in a perfect linear fashion. Does linear thinking make you an interesting person? No. Global thinking makes you an interesting person. Linear thinking will get your stereo set up for you though, okay? Will give good directions as opposed to, well, this is how some people give direction. You go, you know how you go like that over that away? By that store that used to be a gas station before you lived here? Okay. Any questions about the Neapolitan sixth chord? It's derived from the chromatic neighbor of the minor four chord. Okay? If we were to give it a Roman numeral analysis, it would be that, but this is why I prefer this to this. Roman numeral analysis should tell you something, otherwise it's not really an analysis. Really all you need is the figured base. If I see, and you too, I know that this is true, if you see this, you know what that means already, right? You don't have to have the Roman numerals. Roman numerals should tell you your root, sort of, but when we start adding the augmented sixth chords and the Neapolitan sixth chord, the root is less important. Sort of. Okay. Frederick, you ready? Augmented sixth chords? Okay. Again, derived from the minor mode. We will be in the minor mode. Okay. First thing though, I think this would be very fun. In the key of E minor, write a Phrygian half cadence. We're going to stop early today and do the evaluations of your fearful leader. How long do you think that would take?
30 seconds.
30 minutes?
Whoa, 30 seconds.
We're going to stop class in time to do it. How long do you think it will take?
Not a
30
minute.
seconds.
Not longer.
Like 10 minutes.
20 minutes maybe?
No. No, probably.
10 minutes.
Do you want to scoot there? 5 minutes.
20.
Ones and fives don't mean the same thing. And your checking account, they don't either. I have $5. What were we doing? Phrygian half cadence. Okay, what I know about the Phrygian half cadence would be that. So 5 in the key of whatever this is, 4/6 is going to be that. What I do know about the Phrygian half cadence is that it expands like that to 5. Yes? So what do we double? We could double the root. We could really double just about anything. But let's just go standard issue, double the root. Well, this obviously goes to there, and this would go to there. F sharp being in the key signature. Yes? Okay, that's a Phrygian half cadence. Now, let's think about 4/6 in another way here. One thing we know about this is this is the basis of the augmented 6 chord right there. If I just raise that A, right, that currently is an Italian 6 chord without anything doubled, right? This is just a 3-note, what do we call this? That's triad. But the root, oddly enough, is the A sharp. Okay, so that's why we kind of need to say, Now, if it's going Italian, we're going to do that. Now we have to account for that. That's what makes this an augmented 6 chord, is that augmented 6th above the bass, which expands outward by semitone to the dominant. Does anybody else have a better way to say that? Moves chromatically to the dominant. They don't use the same letter names either. Okay? Now, that makes that. I like to just think about the French next, because you just take that doubled third and go up the scale step to F sharp, right? So, quick check if you're any good at stuff like that. Bing, 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 bing. Tritone, tritone. So I have 2 tritones there. That's enough. That's what makes the French 6th the French 6th. And then, if I just expand that again to the full triad, so I have a C, E, G triad there. My A sharp stays the same. This is the German 6th. And it is this. I think I should have written that for the French, yes? Okay, so for the German, /6/5. Now, in the major mode, never mind. Okay. This now has parallel fifths, right? That's why we do not resolve the German 6 directly to 5. We resolve it through the cadential 6/4 chord to 5. Now, may the French and may the Italian resolve through the cadential 6/4 chord. Yes, they may. So that's not, the thing is, if it goes directly to 5 and it's not written by Chopin or Brahms, it's probably not a German 6 chord, all right? So if it goes augmented 6 to 5 directly, it's Italian or French. If it goes augmented 6 to cadential 6/4, it's either Italian, German, or French. Now, I like to group the Italian and the German together because they sound the same. The French is unique in tonal history, the way it sounds. It just sounds exactly that way, like a French 6 chord. How do you describe what a French 6 chord sounds like? It sounds like a French 6th. Now, how do you know that? You play them on the piano until you know that. Why? It's just like one of those things that you might like to know. How do you learn these things? You must teach yourself. Besides spending a great deal of money on your tuition, you must really teach yourself. Whatever you don't understand, you need to figure out yourself. Okay? Regular education hasn't done it for you yet. Figure it out yourself. What are some good resources? Your textbook. What are other good resources? The Google. Okay? Google it. If you don't understand the language of the Google that you Google, don't read that one. Okay? If it seems stupid or the engraving on the page looks bad, don't read that one. How about Wikipedia? It's probably going to be okay. You can't cite it, but you can look at what Wikipedia cites. Okay. Grove's Dictionary of Music and Musicians, look at what they cite. Oh, sorry, that's a Tuesday, Thursday thing, isn't it? Anyway, when in doubt, figure it out. You can do it. What's the next hardest thing? Do you understand augmented 6 chords and secondary dominance at this point? Anything else? A what? An augmented 1 chord.
Augmented 1-to-1.
Common chord writing mistakes.
It can be a thing.
You can have an augmented chord
use it a
for
lot
sure. They're not as functional, but they are a thing. You can make pretty much anything a thing.
Yeah, you can want really.
The 1 cadence?
Yes.
You're not gonna ask us to do any of that, like spell this enharmonically and all that stuff?
That hasn't been on a test, right?
No.
No.
Only what has been on the 5 test.
So it would benefit us to look over those tests.
Good.
All right.
Also, you can I don't know. I'll know more on Wednesday, but right now I'm thinking of using things off the test. But the other thing is I might look at the exam I gave 2 years ago and see whether that would work.
Okay. Okay.
If I do that, I'll bring that in on Wednesday to let you peruse it. Yes,
Our exam is next Wednesday.
I do believe it's at 8 a.m.
8 to 10. Pretty sure.
8 to 10, and we will go no longer than that. Okay?
How long? I'm sorry, it's a lot of questions. How long do you think it'll be? Like super long or?
I think it will take people between, say, 35 minutes and 2 hours.
Do you think it'll be like the same length as a
Okay.
visual test, or
I do not think that.
It'll be a little
longer
bit
than
longer.
usual?
I think it will be longer. If you have trouble doing one page in 50 minutes, you might have trouble doing 2 pages in 120 minutes.
Okay.
It won't be 5 pages.
Nice.
It will be 2 pages or less.
Okay.
One-sided, right?
All right, one thing I am not gonna do, there will be no analysis on the test. Okay? I don't like grading it. It's hard to grade because it takes more than a second. Part writing is not hard to grade. Wrong. It's usually wrong. Analysis is like, well, maybe. If you'd have done this instead, okay, we will do more analysis next term, maybe. But the test will be part writing and abstract concepts that are part writing, like fix the figured base and write the secondary dominant. Write and resolve the Neapolitan and the augmented 6 chords in the key of a major key, a minor key, something like that. Yes.
Do we have a project for this class?
Well, no.
Okay, thank you.
Was there one in the syllabus? I don't think so. I do look at the syllabus at the beginning of the semester. No, I do look at the assignments, and I think we're all good on the assignments. Okay, I think another thing that I found to be challenging on the last test was people part writing pretty well, but the Roman numerals had nothing to do with what they part wrote.
That's pretty good.
Okay, here's the thing. I sometimes add Roman numerals thinking that would be an easy point, but it's not. So, let's do a short. Gotta watch the clock. We're gonna stay in E minor key and we're gonna do something really exciting to begin. Is forgot what that was. Okay, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hand back all the papers, all the people I didn't see the last time I did this.
Wait, what?
Okay, I'm gonna keep looking for papers. Are y'all finished? Fine. Now we have found some ungraded papers. Okay, let me talk you through this. This would be 5, 7, and third inversion, right? So that makes that that. Okay, passing 6, 4, it's not gonna be that easy. It's gonna be that easy, right? Not the right note. Sorry. That was on me. Does that look right? Yes, it does. Okay, what's the next chord? It says -6. What's it mean? Yes, it does. Neapolitan. So, all I gotta think is FAC, right?
Yes.
Does that work?
Yes.
Seems like that's not correct though, is it? Does that work?
Yes. I mean, it does. Looks like it.
I mean, I have other options. I could do this.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like this.
Most likely I would do this one. But we'll have to see. Okay, A sharp, C sharp, E, G. There's my C sharp, there's my G. There's my E. Now it looks like I've got a fourth there, so I'm in good shape. Although when I ran up 2 flights of stairs yesterday, I could really kind of feel it. You know. somebody wrote 8-7 here, so I need to offset that a little bit like that. And then this to me looks like deception. So just like I did when I was a freshman, I'm going to double the tonic. Now, what is this chord?
Is there French?
Truth. Okay, so this is troublesome.
He says,
Don't erase it.
I need an A sharp, don't I?
Yep.
Tell me what voice is going to become the A sharp. And by voice I mean tenor, alto, or soprano.
I'm gonna say alto.
I'm going to say no. That would be an
Soprano.
augmented second.
Soprano?
Ooh.
Oh, you're right. Whoopsies.
Soprano?
Soprano. Now that looks like, hey, isn't that illegal? Not in this state. That is a diminished fifth. Okay?
Oh, okay.
That is legal.
And then I think that would sort of be that like that for that. Now this is going to go directly to 5. And now the easiest thing for me to do here is to let that leading tone do what it wants. Okay? Now a lot of times we seem to get 5 mistaken with 5-7. The only thing that you really have to do in a 5 chord is if the leading tone is in the soprano, it needs to go to the tonic. But otherwise, many times I would get something like this, or sorry, wrong note, like 2 roots and 2 fifths or something. It's really just a 5 chord. I'm sorry I have beat your ability to resolve 5 out of you. Here's the other thing. I brought the remaining pins for the evaluation that this department has, and that's 1.
Who is stealing? Oh.
I'm sure you'll have 2 or 3 from previous evaluations. Does everyone have a pin? It can be black and or blue. Who would like, oh sorry, we can't tape this. Oh, tape. Not a